Hey guys, I'm going to show you a build for the Witch Doctor. This build is based around the Fetish Army, and it does a lot of damage, and I'm sure you can push the 100 greater rifts with this build. Now the first thing I'm going to show you is the gear. The second thing I'm going to show you is the skills and runes. And then the third thing I'm going to show you or tell you is where some tips and tricks on how to find select pieces of this gear that I used to help me find it faster. Okay, let's get into it. So starting from top down, the first thing you're going to get is the Carnival. This mask allows the 10 fetishes close to you to shoot a powerful poison dart. It's not 5, it is in fact 10. This is a key aspect of the build. The next thing you want to get is the Traveler's Pledge along with the Compass Rose. While moving, damage is reduced up to 50% That is very important. That will help you really push the 100s when you're grinding out the rifts. And then the next part is while standing still, your damage is doubled. That is a very important thing. Along with the gems inside them. As you see, we have the Bane of the Trapped, the Simplicity Strength, and the Enforcer. Those are probably the key gems you're going to want. Now for the shoulders, you are not necessarily going to need the Pauldron of the Skeleton King. However, they can be helpful. For the shoulders, honestly, just do whatever you think is best. For the chest piece, gloves, boots, mojo, and the ring, those are all going to need to be the Zuna Mesa. The Zuna Mesa set will allow your fetishes to not die. Well, they will last until they die, and the cooldown of your armor is reduced by 80%. The next thing is you and your pecs takes 3% less damage for every fetish you have alive. And the last thing, which is probably the best thing of this set, enemies hit by your mana spenders take 15,000% more damage from your pets for 8 seconds. That is the tricky part about this build. This build does not work unless you hit them with an ability that does damage. And if you don't hit them with an ability that does damage, you will be doing probably 100 million. But whenever you hit them with the ability, you will do the billions. You will do like 1 or 2 billion, at least from what I'm at now. Obviously, if you're standing still, it's doubled. And then if you are generating resource, it is also doubled. I didn't even get to the pants yet. So that is very important. The next thing is these bracers. These are very important bracers. These will also help you increase the top rifts that you can do. Reduce all damage taken by 6% for each stack of soul harvest you have. This is paired with the Sacred Harvester, and these guys make a pretty good team. Now the Witching Hour, the belt along with the shoulders, they don't really matter. Just get a good roll. Like this one has poison dart damage increased by 15% along with the shoulders. Just get something like that. Now for the next thing is, I already said, the Compass Rose, and then the Depth Diggers. Primary skills that generate resource do 100% additional damage. That is very important. And now you told the Mojo and the Sacred Harvester. It'll stack your soul harvest 10 times, which is paired with this, so you can get 60% reduced damage. Now for the Kanai's Cube, you're gonna need the Dagger of Darts. Your poison darts and your fetishes they now pierce through enemies and do an additional 500% damage. If it's in your cube, it'll be 500%. If it's in your hand, it can be between 400 to 500%. Now for the mask, pets will deal 200% increased damage. Again, same thing, 200 if it's in the cube, 150 or between 200 and 150 if it's not. And they're asking the Royal Ring. This will allow us to complete our set when we only have 5 items. Now that'll do it for the set. Moving on to the skills. Now for the skills, your primary is going to need to be the poison dart with spined dart. This will allow us to generate mana, so this will double our damage. For your secondary, you're going to want haunt, or an ability that costs mana and does damage to enemies. You can really use whatever you want. The acid cloud with acid rain works really well. You could damage a whole entire area of enemies with this, and your fetishes will take them out. Soul harvest, you will need soul harvest with languish. This will increase your armor by a lot, especially since attack stacks up to 10. Horrify with fighting aspect, again, frightening aspect, again, just to get more armor. Obviously the fetish army and the legion of daggers, so you can get up to 8. And then for the passive skills, you can use grave injustice, the fetish psychopants, confidence ritual, and I like using fierce loyalty just because I can run faster. But you can use the spirit vessel. That is also very helpful. Now for the tips on how to get some of these weapons. I only have a couple of tips for a few of these pieces of gear, but nonetheless, they're pretty helpful. Probably the best tip I have is for the Sacred Harvester. This is probably the easiest thing to acquire, and this allows you to get tons of health, and your toughness can go up to 150 million. If you have base 10 million, I've gone up to 150 million when I had max out Soul Harvest and fighting aspect with Horrify, or Horrify with fighting aspect. Anyway, the way you get it is you want to go to your forge armor person. You want to forge weapon, I mean, and then you want to craft a rare ceremonial knife. It does not matter which one. Just craft, I don't know, one that you have like the most craft. I crafted 10 and I got 2, so it appears just from that single test that it's about a 20% chance that you're going to get it. You're going to want to go to the third recipe, Hope of Cain. You're going to want to fill it, throw in one of these things, transmute, and whenever you transmute that, it will convert it to a legendary, and you can get a Sacred Harvester from that. And that is probably the easiest one to get. I'm not going to craft it because I'm kind of low on some materials. For the next tip is for the Dagger of Darts. Like I said, this is one of the most important things in this build to make it really that much powerful. And the way that I found this, I did tons of rifts, but I started finding it on rifts 50 and above. I would just continue grinding those rifts and don't get discouraged. It does have a little bit of a low drop chance, but continue grinding those rifts. Now, I believe for my last little help is for the Ring of Royal, or the Royal Ring. I'm not going to say the last name. The way you get this is actually pretty simple. What you're going to want to do is you're going to go to Act 1 or Act 4. You're going to want to complete all of these bounties, which means you just load into it. You load into the little waypoint, and you just follow this arrow, and you do whatever it says. Rinse and repeat for the 5 times. Collect this chest, and then you do that both times, and then you leave the game, join back in, and then you can do it again. And whenever you open this chest, there is a chance that the ring will drop. I got 2 of them whenever I opened 4 chests, so the chances are not too bad, but it may take a couple of hours to get. For the last tip, I'm going to show you it's just something helpful. Most of you probably know this. However, for those who don't, if you have, say, 2 Zunamesa gloves, or if you have a Zunamesa mask or pants, what you can do is you can take one. As you see, I have the mask. You take it to resultant, and then you want to go to the I think it was convert set item right here. You want to throw it in or fill, and then you click transmute, and this will roll this to a random piece of the gear. You can get anything from this. It took a little bit of attempts to actually finally get what I wanted, but it's certainly faster than grinding rifts. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you found this helpful. Yeah, goodbye.